Hey everybody, I'm at my home in Beijing and I thought I would sit down and do a bit of a vlog because Beijing is slowly, gradually going into COVID lockdown, and I haven't seen anything sort of talking about COVID lockdown. So I wanted to start doing some vlogs to sort of let everybody know what lockdown's like in Beijing. And so I'm going to do episode by episode. So this would be the first episode. And in this episode, I wanted to just explain to everybody probably one of the most basic pieces of information that you need to know if you're going to understand anything about China during COVID, and that is the health kit. So yeah, we have a health kit on our phones that basically, if you don't have this health kit in Beijing, we have a Beijing one. It goes per city or sometimes per province, but for Beijing, we have a Beijing one. And if you don't have this health kit, you basically don't exist during COVID in China. You can't get into places, you can't get into public places, you can barely go anywhere, you can't get tested, you can't get vaccinated, you can't get anything during COVID if you don't have a health kit. And I'll probably be referencing this later on. Also, if you hear anything about Beijing or China during COVID, you'll hear about this health kit, but this is basically how they track you. So WeChat is the big app. This is the one that I use. I use WeChat, but you can also get it on Alipay, which is another big app. I use WeChat. So if I go onto WeChat, I go down to this mini programs thing, and on the mini programs, sort of right there in the top corner here, you see health kit. So I'd click on that, and basically what happens is when that comes up, all of a sudden my health kit comes up, right? So this is something that I am registered on, and if you can see at the top there, it says that's my name, right? And then of course I've got 4 options there. So the first option is query on me. The second option is query on others. The third option is scan to register, and the fourth option is query on vaccinations. So if I press the first option, and this is basically what happens, this is what the health kit does, is it gives me my picture, and the important thing here is under here it says green, it says no abnormal conditions, right? So that's really important. If I go to scan to register QR code, so this is what we have to do when we go into all of the buildings, is we scan to register the QR code. We scan a QR code at the beginning of every building, and it will register us on that building. It will say in the big data center that yes, we've been there, and it'll basically, we show it to the guard, and if our kit comes up green like mine just did, that means you have no abnormal conditions and it's welcome on in. But if you have been to a high risk area, or for some reason you haven't quarantined somewhere, or you have scanned a QR code that also went to a high risk area, you will have a you won't have a yellow one. Basically, this health kit won't work, and you won't be able to go in anywhere. So that's the number one function of the health kit, is to basically to track where you're going all the time, and then to tell everybody if you're meant to be under quarantine, if you're meant to be isolated, that you can't go into certain places. The second thing here is right at the bottom, we have query on vaccination services. So as we go into query on vaccination services, we have basically, there's 2 selections here. One's nucleic acid test, and the other one is vaccination. If I go to my vaccinations, it basically says, my immunization series is complete. It tells you when I had my last vaccination. It tells you what type of vaccination I had, which type was the first dose, which type was the second dose, which type was the third dose. Now, if I go into the tests, right now it says I have a negative test, right? It's flashing negative on there. It says it's a negative test and that it was done 0 days ago, which meant that basically the test was taken within the last 24 hours. So that's the health kit, and that's how we basically move on here in Beijing, and I'll be referencing this a little bit later on in our vlog. So if you have any questions about the health kit, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, look out for more posts about life in Beijing under COVID.